All right. Well, here we finally fucking are. The final season, bro. I can't believe you got here so fucking fast. It took you a lot. It didn't take you quite as long to catch up as I thought you would. But now you're finally to the most recent entry. This came out in 2018. So, 3 years ago, pretty much. Or 4 years ago, because it came out like right in the middle of it. So it's still fairly fresh. Still very, very innovative. But here's the opening screen, as you would say. I only did one episode, so I'll go over those stats really real quick, and I will definitely go over a lot more with you. But I just wanted to give you a bit of an insight as to why this looks a little bit different than the other ones. The first 2 episodes, Done Running and Stuff for the Children, were completed before Telltale went derelict, went bankrupt, and went out of business. So the other 2 episodes, Broken Toys and Take Us Back, they were, I kind of like to call the revival version of Telltale. So there's a different feel, I think. But imagine, bro, if the second episode was the final episode of the series. Because that's what a lot of us were thinking. They're like, wait, the company's going to go bankrupt. They were saying how, oh, we had all this planned out before our problems arose. We'll finish out the game, don't worry. But it got really, really down to the wire where it was like, there was like no word on it whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, this ragtag group of individuals or executives from Telltale got together and they partnered with Skybound Games and Comics, which was also the company that made the comic books. And with their help, they finished the series. I'm a little muddled on what really went down, but you may think, oh, is that why they only have 4 episodes? No, they planned to have 4 episodes from the beginning for some reason. I don't know why, but they just want to have 4 episodes. But the final 2 were very, very just... We didn't know if they were going to happen, or we didn't know if they're going to be different. We didn't know if they're going to follow the same suit. We had no idea what was going to happen. Anyway, having said that, let's go into Done Running's stats, if you don't mind. And I'll talk with them, and I'll explain them a bit in detail, and I'll explain, of course, the relationships. Remember the relationship mechanic that they had brought over from A New Frontier? Well, that's back in this game, and it's also utilized in different specific interactions with certain people, and I'll tell you all about that because I have them right here in front of me. So no spoilers for anything except in this episode, but nothing about episodes 2 through 4, because you're going to want to play those, and you're going to want to absorb the knowledge and absorb the information that is being poured out to you. Anyway, having said that, let's get right into the relationship and choices for Done Running. Myself, you, and 56% of players killed the Walker couple in the train station, whereas 44% of players chose to let AJ go through the window in the train station. You had the right idea right from the get-go, bro. You were like, you wanted to kill him right from the jump. Because you didn't want to send AJ through. I mean, at least I didn't want to send AJ through a dark window by himself. Had no idea what was on the other side. It was dark in there. The key was right there, laying next to a Walker couple. Yeah, they left a note saying, "Please leave us alone. This is what we wanted." But I'm sorry, that doesn't apply once you're dead. I don't understand how anybody would want to come back as a Walker. If you want to kill yourself, you want to give up in that world, fine. But take out the brain or do something. Don't come back and kill the other people, especially those of you who you may care about. I mean, you say yourself, bro. Those things they could have gotten loose. They could have, they could have came after you. They could have any number of things. Any number of ways that could have happened. Or On the other hand, maybe if you sent AJ through the window, he would have unlocked the door from the other side, and the Walker couple would have not been a problem at all. There's that side. Regardless, you and I followed the herd, so to speak. When I say follow the herd, I mean the majority. And when I say majority, anything over 50%, because that's half. Now, trust me, there's been a lot of variations where it's been like 51 or like 50.8%, but as long as it gets to 50, that's majority in my mind, and that means there's a herd, or there's a curve to follow. Do I agree with the curve? Not all the time, as you noticed, but that's the where the limit is for me, 50%. Anything above that is majority, anything below that is minority. Like this one, 44% of players. Even though that is 6% away from 50, that's still 6%, which means there is a considerable gap in players that went that route. Anyway, let's move on. We deviate here. Whereas myself and 53% of players went fishing with the girls, i.e. Violet and Brody, you and 47% of players went hunting with the boys, i.e. Lewis and Asim. So, I mean, call me a pussy or whatever, but, I don't like to hunt. I've never gone hunting. I have no intention to hunt. I don't want to ever hunt. I understand that it has to be done in that kind of world. There's no food. There's nothing to protect you. There's no supermarket. There's no butcher. There's no, thankfully we have a chef. Well, we have Omar who knows how to cook. But I would not want to do that job. Oh, I know. But wait, you're a man. Don't guys like to go hunting? Not all guys like to do that. Remember Nick from season 2, bro? Remember that story? What Pete told, how Nick couldn't shoot that deer? That would be me. I couldn't hurt an animal like that. But then you're gonna ask, well, why? Okay, well, hang on, man, David. Well, why'd you go fishing then? Well, out of those two choices, I'd rather go fishing because, well, number one, I prefer fish over rabbit. I've never had rabbit before. It's on my bucket list, but prepared and served in a proper way, in a proper setting, not just like gutted, skinned, dressed, and whatever. And I also liked Violet a little bit more than Lewis, and it was weird because the parents were different. It was Violet and Brody, and Lewis and Asim. I didn't really care for Lewis that much. Asim was okay. I wasn't too sure about him. Violet, I kind of wanted to get to know a little bit because she was so antisocial. I was like, okay, well, now it's a fucking challenge, right? You're antisocial, it's a fucking challenge. I want to get to know you more. I want to get to know why are you so, closed off, because I'm like that too. That's how I am as well. Let's be antisocial together. Let's be animalistic together. Let's rule this fucking world together, you know what I'm saying? And Brody, I didn't really know much about her other than the fact that she seemed like an airhead. Like a bubbly airhead. And ironically enough, going with Violet and Brody to fish, I was able to learn a bit of backstory and a bit of history on both Violet and Brody and Sophie and Minerva. And I was able to... Minerva, sorry. And I was able to learn a bit more about what happened that day. If you want to go back and watch my stream, bro, it's all there. Just watch it. It's there. I just go to I go fishing with Violet and Brody. There's also a really fucking annoying bug in this fucking version of the game where the piano, when you're trying to find AJ and Luis, you end up fucking hearing the goddamn piano the entire fucking scene because for some reason the audio cue for the piano is longer than the set piece itself. So whereas it's supposed to be replaced by muffled, sounds and the talking gets a little bit higher, it's a continuous playing a loop of the same fucking piano chords over and over, which it sounded pretty cool at first, but hearing it over and over constantly at like fixed intervals is really annoying, especially to the fact when it has like the saxophone effect in those mob films, where the saxophone gets louder and louder as they're trying to talk, and it gets to the point where they're trying to yell over the music to get the point across. That's how bad it was. So, and I fucking hate how. And the problem with that is that they can't even fix the bug because Telltale doesn't have the access to the code anymore. So they can't fix it. They can't patch it. So they released a buggy game, pretty much. But so far, this was the only game breaking. Well, no, I wouldn't say game breaking. It's annoying. The audio cue just lasts longer. It's not in your version because you bought the single version, but in my version, I love it. The definitive series, there's a bug where the piano chord goes longer in the scene. Thankfully, once it's over, but it's just it's stuck, unfortunately. Because I think it's stuck in a loop, and then it ends when the scene's over with, when they're outside. It's kind of funny though because it looks like it's mystical playing because Luis is not playing anything while he's talking. The piano's going on. It's funny, but also really fucking annoying. So I'm glad you did not have to put up with that during your live stream or during your game. So that was a good thing. Good on you for buying the singlet version because you would have to deal with that bullshit. Go back and watch my stream if you want to know more about that. But anyway. Whereas you went hunting with the boys, you had to choose to either goof off with Luis or actually hunt with Aasim. I had the option to smooth things over with Brody and Violet because there was obvious tension. You know what? I'm just going to tell you real quick what happens, bro. Pretty much when you're walking along, they're talking about if they wish that they can all go on a road trip together, which Violet dismisses right away, but Clem can either be happy or skeptical about the idea. And there is some obvious friction between Brody and Violet. Once they enter the cabin, Clem and AJ look around, and eventually they find spears to fish. And Brody is upset about her and Violet's relationship, which is deteriorating very, very fast. She also believes that Violet blames her for Sophie and Minnie's death over a year ago. Brody asks Clem to speak to Violet and see if she could find out what's going on. And then while they're fishing, Violet explains how Brody frustrates her frequently, but Clem realizes her feelings for Sophie and Minerva are uncontrolled and blames Brody for them being kidnapped. So Violet, in going with Violet and Brody, I was able to learn that Violet blamed Brody for the deaths. Well, we thought at the time the deaths of Sophie and Minerva. And that's why she was so hostile. So, after they catch a few fish, Clementine pushes Violet to reconnect with Brody, and then they talk about her issues. Violet admits to Brody that if they wanted a road trip, she would let him drive to the Grand Canyon, and then Brody thanks Clem for speaking to Violet, blah, 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 blah. And then the scene happens where they would meet up with the boys, kind of like how you met up with the girls after your scene. So, pretty much all that changes, bro, is who you get to bond with. I got extra time with Brody and Violet, whereas I got no extra screen time with Aasim and Luis for that episode. I didn't see much of them. After the meal and after the big battle, pretty much. So that was me. That was what I did, and as you can see, I was the majority. You were in the minority, which, to be fair, only a 3% difference, but still 3% difference. I mean, you wanted to hunt with the boys. No problem there. I wanted to fish with the girls. I like fish more. I don't like rabbit. And I liked Violet and Brody a bit more than Luis and Aasim at that point in time. So that's the reason why I went there. Honestly, I wouldn't want to do either of those fucking choices. Neither. I wouldn't want to fish and I wouldn't want to fucking hunt. But in that world, you gotta do it, right? But anyway, moving on to third choice. Oh yeah, this one. Surprisingly, you were in the minority, bro. You let AJ sleep under the bed, which, you know, I don't know. It's like your attitude towards AJ is so fucking, you know, mixed, man. It's like, you know, little motherfucker sleep on the floor or something. It's like, God, man. Like, you really learn a lot about a person based on how they play. Which, I don't know about you, but I never had to sleep on no floor. So, I would not want to sleep on the fucking floor. I would not want to sleep on the fucking floor. I want to sleep on a fucking bed, a couch, a chair, or something. Not on no fucking floor. So I'm not sure why. I mean, well, you said yourself that you wanted him to, you wanted to leave him alone because you wanted to be on the floor. But as you can see, about damn near everybody pretty much went against that. They said to give the bad chance, and then he did. And he liked it. He thought it was awesome. But, I don't know. I'm not really going to say much about this one because, well, you don't really... I mean, you explained yourself, and I'll explain why I convinced AJ to sleep on the bed. Because he's 5 years old, bro. He's a fucking child. He's younger than Clementine was when Lee found her. She was 8 when he found her. I know it's only 3 years, but 3 years. Oh, it's only 3, right? But nah, bro. He was born in that world of fucking apocalyptic terror. He deserves to sleep on a fucking bed. Call me weird, but I wanted to provide that for him. I wanted to give him a bed. Just because he deserved one. He never had a bed growing up, it seemed. And, well, not growing up. He was... I wanted to give him I wanted him to be able to sleep comfortably on a bed. And he did. Look at him, bro. He's all cuddly and shit. And as you notice, whatever you do differently, it reflects on the screen. So, I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, that's what I did. 71% of players convinced AJ to sleep on the bed, whereas you and 29% of players let AJ sleep under the bed. Well, here's that. There you have it, man. Not really. There you have it. Bruh. Okay, to be fair, I have never not attacked Abel. I have never chose the other two choices. So the first time I saw the outcome of those two dialogue options was watching you play them. I had no idea that hitting square, AJ shoot, would be a non-canon death. I had an idea, though, that if you surrendered food to Abel, that's you lowering the gun. So, but I don't never not attack Abel. It's like, why wouldn't you attack Abel? And then you said, oh, well, you know, I wanted to attack him, but I want AJ to shoot him. Bro, his attention, Abel's attention, was focused on AJ. He pretty much said he'll shoot him if he tries anything. You sounding off the fact that AJ shoot him was like a red flag. So that was a mistake on your part. If you attacked Abel, you would have blindsided him like I did. It would have been a blindside attack. That's what I did, and that's what 78% of players did. We attacked Abel rather than giving him food. Now, okay, you got scared. I mean, you got a non-canon death, which, to be fair, those suck. Hey, I got one too in this game. Although I went back and edited that out. I know I'm an asshole. I had to do it. I was like, fuck that. But I I'm surprised you just like fucking and then go for attack Abel, which you should have done. You should have been like, okay. Or better yet, you should have hit X the first fucking time. The first time. You should have gone with your basic instinct. Because, you know, for being a survival strategist, as you became at the end of A New Frontier, you're not being a good strategist, bro. You're really not. What's the benefit of letting him go with food? In my version, I shoved him in a pack of walkers. Two of the walkers grabbed him out of the window. He was struggling, and then we ran off. In my mind, he's walker food. Even if they didn't kill him right away, he's bit. He's on a timer. So that's what I was thinking. Anyway, but you explained yourself, which kind of it wasn't quite the most convincing argument as to why you did that, but I mean, I guess, you know, you like you said, you have to react to your consequences, but I don't think reacting to your consequences in that way is going to be healthy for you, man. I guess now you're going to think, oh, well, I should have done this, I should have done that. Always go with what your gut's telling you, because 9 times out of 10, bro, it's probably right. Now, you're 21, I'm 27. Our intellect and our mindsets might be totally different, and our psyches may be totally different, but you've played enough of these episodes to know the drill by now, to know that it's time to stop, you know, giving people a chance. And I'm trying, and also you have to listen to that's also a good thing I want to bring up. This is not a dig on you at all, but you have to listen to the dialogue. You have to try to focus. I know it's tough to do sometimes, but you have to try to focus when they're talking, because you might miss something that's very vital to a dialogue choice you have to make. Because yeah, bro, you said, the choices now, dialogue choices in this game kill you now. No, bro, they've always killed you. You just haven't picked the ones to give you a non-canon death yet. They may have been scattered here and there, but they've always been there. But you live, you learn. Well, you don't live, you don't learn. But it's a video game. Thankfully, there's a reset button. But a few times you would have been dead. So would have I. I would have been too. But anyway, let's move on to and I'll explain why I attacked him. I attacked him right away because, number one, his attention was focused on AJ. He totally forgot about me, which gave me the advantage, which gave me a sneak attack, a preemptive strike, if you will. And that guy was very shifty. He had them Bible pages. I know he was fucking with them. I know he was fucking with them traps. And he gave off very, very just like pedophile vibes almost. So I attacked him. I shoved his ass to a pack of walkers. They took a chunk out of him. But we'll see if you surrendering food to Abel has any different effect, rather than attacking Abel and shoving him into a pack of walkers. But anyway, let's move on. And also, do a drinking game of how many times I said the word anyway. I'm trying to fill up time because I also got a timer running, and I don't want us to be like a long video. I'm almost done. Don't worry. We come back here. I am so glad, bro, that you said something, because if you would have let the timer run out, Marlon would have shot you. Nobody would have spoken up, and we were talking that as no one's on your side, would have executed you right then and there. Which is also a non-canon death, and you would have had to respawn and, you know, to go through it again. I thought you were going to appeal to Lewis at first. I really thought so. But you didn't. And, you did what I did too. I turned to Violet for help, and you did as well. Dialogue was pretty much the same, if not for a few different choices here and there. But you appealed to her, and what happened was she was on your side. She was on your side. Not much else to say about that, and that's the summary of the 5 choices. Those were the 5 main choices that the game took note of. The Walker couple, fishing or hunting, sleeping on the bed or not on the bed, attacking or surrendering, and who do you appeal to for help? Moving on to the most fascinating, I think in my mind, one of the fascinating aspects of the later games was the relationship statuses. First off, I'll leave you with Lewis. Now, this one is, you may notice, why is there only one choice? Well, I didn't go hunting with him and a sim, so I didn't get that bond moment. Whereas yours had said, I think, what was it? Yours had said something like that, about like how he had felt lonely when he chose to hunt rabbits with a sim. All I did was I told him about killing a loved one, and he sympathized with my pain, and that was what I think you also, but you also told him. Yeah, because you told them about Lee. The alternative would have been not telling him anything. So, and I'll tell you right now. Well, what causes the survivors to shift their relationship towards you? Well, here it is. Whereas you left sorry. You left Lewis feeling heartbroken, so did I, 61%. That's because you and myself appealed to Violet. If we had done what 39% of players did and appealed to Lewis, he would have been lost. That's what he would have felt. We would have left him feeling lost. So I'd rather have him feeling heartbroken, because I don't really like him all that much. And I don't have one of the choices because I didn't go with him and a sim hunting. Moving on. All right, Tennessee. This one's different, bro. We're different. Whereas you and 70% of players left him feeling bitter, I left him feeling resentful. And 30% of players left him feeling resentful. So I was in the minority. Well, actually, I wasn't in the minority, because 10 has 4 different outcomes he could have had in this episode: bitter, resentful, helpless, or powerless. So out of those, bro, which one would you want to have most? Yeah, yours fits. But I wanted him to be resentful, bro. I wanted him to be very, very, it's like angry. We had the same outcome, though. But here's what decides how you leave 10 feeling. You ready, bro? Right after 10 walks up to Marlon and asks him why he gave away his sisters, what you say to 10 determines how you leave him. You told 10 that Marlon was a coward. That was what left 10 feeling bitter. I told 10 the truth. I said that Marlon should have sacrificed himself. A real leader would have sacrificed himself. If he had to give anybody away, he should have given himself away. And that was what shifted the paradigm, so to speak, in his brain. You called Marlon a coward, and I told him that Marlon should have sacrificed himself. So 10 is listening to you, bro. He is listening to you, big time, big time. Moving on. Same. You and I left AJ feeling the same. But here, are the two alternatives. You can either have him being hardened, ruthless, or pragmatic. And that's totally based on what you tell him in the train station when he finds bullets and he puts them in his gun. If you tell him aim for the head, like you and I did, he's hardened. If you tell him to save the last bullet for himself or nothing at all, he's ruthless. If you told him not to ever hesitate, he's pragmatic. I think it's better if he's hardened, honestly. I don't want him to be ruthless just yet. Not quite yet. Because saving the last bullet for yourself is very, very it's very, very pessimistic. Which is a good thing. You don't want to turn into one of those monsters. But here's where we also deviate. I comforted AJ when I told him I convinced him to sleep in the bed, and he was satisfied when I attacked Abel at the train station. Total opposite for you, bro. Yours was he was resolved to sleep under the bed after the first night at the school, and he was disappointed that you let Abel get away at the train station. So he's a little disappointed in you right now, bro. And he was, and I'm glad you let him explain himself, and I'm glad you let him talk about it, but he's a little irritated with you right now. But then again, he just blew a guy's brains out, so I kind of think you get a pass on that one, right? But yeah, Brody, she's dead for both of us. Before you ask, there is no way to save her. She dies no matter what in this episode. She's marked for death no matter what. Now, you had only one sentence. Here's the other difference. Lewis and Brody are the difference makers here. You had one sentence for Brody. I had two for Brody because I went with her and Violet fishing. I was able to resolve the conflict between her and Violet, so she was grateful to me. But she was also appalled when I downplayed my encounter with Abel, which I think is what you did too. I think that's what you did. Because I don't think you pushed back, and you didn't answer the question, so you didn't push back at all. She wasn't pissed off at you, I think. So yeah, you were just, you downplayed the encounter like it was nothing, which I did too. But no matter what, she's dead. So, whereas I got to bond with her a little bit, I talked about, where I would go if I could travel anywhere. I told her I would want to drive down one of those curving mountain roads, in like those mountain areas where there's like a road that goes all the way up to the top, and then like at the top there's like a peak of the summit. It was either that, the beach, or I forgot. But out of the three choices that I presented me, I chose the mountain winding path. So I had that bonding moment with her, whereas you did not. You decided to bond with a sim, which I liked that. I liked how you were serious about hunting, but I did not like the fact how you snapped the baby's neck. And before you get all, it's just whatever. If you would have released it and waited a few weeks, it would have matured and grown, and then you could have killed it and skinned it and dressed it for a meal. A baby bunny would not be a good meal. It wouldn't be enough. So, a part of me didn't want. I didn't want you to hurt the baby. I didn't want you to snap the neck either, but you still did it anyway. So it was like because you were like cruel. But it's like that's why I don't like to hunt. I don't want to be responsible for killing an animal. And then you said, well, if I didn't do that, maybe something else would have gotten it. You don't know that. All you know is that you snapped a baby bunny's neck. That's all you know. So, could have saved it for a few weeks, and you could have made a bigger meal out of it, but you decided to go for it. Which, whatever. Moving on. Yep, I left Violet feeling guilty. Can we have one day without the fucking cops going in and out of the fucking street, please? I swear. Every day, bro. Constantly. 24 hours a day. There's always a cop car, an ambulance car, a fire truck. Yeah, shut up and go do some fucking work over there. Alright. Oh yeah, Violet. Again, it's whoever you appealed to in the end. Since you and I appealed to Violet, we left her feeling guilty. If you had chosen to appeal to Louis, she would have been left feeling horrified. So out of those two choices, I would rather have her feeling guilty than horrified. I would think. Now, ours was a little bit different. Well, not really. The first sentence was different. She was annoyed when you didn't rebuff Louis's flirtations. When he was flirting with you, oh, that was a B- for you, Violet. And then Clement, a solid A+. You said, I know, or damn right, or whatever. I was nice. I was a nice guy for once, and I was like, hey, Violet, you did good too. And she was all shy at first, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. But she was very, very happy that I complimented her fighting skills. I was like, hey, you did pretty good too, Vi. And so it was different. And then I think, yeah, she was flattered when you comforted her in the dorm rooms too. So there was that. So that was the same. Marlon, he's dead. Same thing, bro. He was enraged when we fought him in the courtyard. He also felt proud when trusting him with Rosie. Moving on. Here's the status of the school. Omar was glad I checked in with him, which you did too. Ruby approved of me teaching AJ manners at the table, but you were annoyed. No, she was annoyed with you because, yeah, she was disgusted by, oh no, she was disgusted when you encouraged his bad manners when he burped too. So, and then Mitch was happy that to show off his buffering skills to you because you talked to him. A sim from me was glad that I stopped AJ from reading his journal. Oh yeah, that was a different thing for you, bro. You read a sim's journal. I told AJ to stop. I was like, hey, give it back to him. And then for you, since you hunted with since you hunted with a sim, you you got the one where he was glad that or that he appreciated the fact that you helped him hunt rabbits. And Rosie, you and I both learned how to bond with Rosie with Marlon's help. And then for Willie, whereas you were, he was fascinated by you when you met him for the first time. I kind of embarrassed him. I was kind of like an asshole to him, but he was embarrassed. So it's okay though. He's all right. He's all good. Oh yeah, I'll go over those in a few minutes. Fucking hell, I can't fucking talk right now. Yeah. So there's that. So last few minutes, I'll talk about the collectibles. Alright, so the two drawings are automatic, bro. You get them no matter what. You get them when you get to the part in the story. So, in all honesty, you only found one collectible. The real flowers. Going from left to right, top to bottom, here go. Deer skull, fake flowers, real flowers, cat skull, Ten's drawing, AJ's drawing. The deer skull is found in the first area that you start off in, the train station. If you go past the tire swing and take a right toward the backside of the station, the skull is placed atop an oil drum, which you did not go back there. Which, I mean, and I watched it, bro. You did not go back there. What happened was you talked to AJ at the tire swing, and then he went back to the front area. So you did not investigate the area properly. Otherwise, you would have found it. So that was where the deer skull is found. The first area, past the tire swing, take a right. It's right there. If you want to go back and place it, because I think it brings out the fucking room really good. Because I hang it on top of the door frame. It's very cool, bro. Just watch the stream. You'll see. Moving on, bro. You almost found the fake flowers. If you remember, when you were trying to find AJ in the school and you had to follow the music, do you remember the stairwell that you were facing? If you would have kept going toward the right-hand side and behind the stairwell on the first floor, the fake flowers would have been sitting on top of a desk. But bro, it's like for some reason it's like you turned around midway through. You were walking, and then all of a sudden you turned around, and then you went to the primary objective, which locks out the collectible. Which is like, I was like, oh, you fucking god! Why did you do that for? You were so close to getting the fake flowers. I was like so irritated at the fact that you were almost there. You almost had it. So you gotta keep going. But you probably wouldn't have seen the response anyway, because you probably would have read it too late. But yeah, you almost got the fake flowers. Almost. But that's where it's at. It's when you're trying to find the music, don't go right when you enter the room. Go straight toward the stairwell, and then when you get toward the bottom of the stairwell, then hang a right around the stairwell, behind the stairwell, and the fake flowers are right there. That's where the fake flowers are at. That's collectible number 2. You actually found the third one, the real flowers. That was in the school courtyard when you were interacting with all the different kids trying to make friends with AJ before, remember after AJ hit him in the balls or elbowed Marlon in the balls. You actually found the real flowers by investigating the courtyard, and you found them sitting on top of like a little desk near a door. So I was proud of that. I was like, oh hell yeah, he got those. So that's one down. But although he missed 2 of them already, I was like, well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Or, I'm sorry, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. But then I was like, well, maybe he'll find the cat skull. Nope. You missed the cat skull. But I'll tell you where the cat skull was at. For you, well, actually, I'll tell you, the cat skull could have been in 2 different places. For you, since you went hunting with Asim and Luis, all you had to do was turn around and walk a few clicks toward where you walked in from before you decided to either hang with Luis or hunt with Asim. It would have been on the ground right there. All you had to do was turn around, but you did not. You went straight forward. And that's all you had to do. So it's like, you missed it by that much. You were there. Because for me, since I went fishing, it was different. It was on a fireplace in a shed, in the fishing shed where the spears were at. But yeah, and then the drawings were acquired automatically. It was just determinate whether or not AJ and Clementine were in the drawing. If you said no to 10, he would have kept you and AJ out of the drawing. But you and I both said yes, so we're both in the drawing. So although it said you got 3 of them, the drawings and the real flowers, you got only 1 of them because you got 2 of them automatically. So and there I tell you how to get the other 3. Behind the tire swing, behind the stairwell, and turn around when you spawn in the hunting area. Alright, it's about 44 minutes. It's about the normal length of a Walking Dead episode, minus the commercials. So I'm going to end it right there. Thank you very much for listening to me rant a little bit. I hope you learned a few things. And let me just give you this as a as a bit of a teaser. Suffer the Children. I do not like this episode. Because I felt like everything that had happened to this point had led up to a certain particular event. And I just it made me realize that at this point that the end was fastly approaching. That's why I warned you, bro. I was like, bro, wait some time in between episodes, but you didn't really do that. It's like 2 or 3 days, but I'm like, okay, well, maybe that's better for you, but just remember that, well, I don't like this episode. Which, to be fair, I guess I do, but it's hard to talk about without you playing it. So play it, and then we'll talk about it later. Alright? 45 minutes. I will talk to you later. Peace.